What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Curious Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Nagusi. Today, we have Warren Allen from the Sentencing Project, a nonprofit aimed with the common goal to end life in prison. Warren, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Caleb. I'm doing fine. Nice to meet you, and thanks for having me on.
I really appreciate you coming on. Of course.
Yes,
So, first things first, tell us about yourself.
Well, I used to be a fitness instructor. It's like, nah, let me stop playing. It's like, nah. Yeah, my name's Warren Allen. Grew up, Washington, D.C., single parent home, doing City Under Siege. This when, the city was being took by storm with the crack epidemic. Coming up in poverty with a single mom, I know you can imagine how rough it was for me and my three siblings. But mom did the best she could with what she had. So we always had enough. But ultimately, living in those environments, we thought we had it rougher than everybody else. But everyone is kind of living under the same means. Had aspirations to play football. I was always great in football coming up. So I played little league football, played little league basketball, played little league baseball. That kind of kept me out of the entanglement of our neighborhood. But ultimately, things catch up with living in an environment where, it's bad distractions. Eventually you'll become a statistic to those distractions. My mother always wanted best for us. So she understood where we was living at that specific time in Washington, D.C., was bad. So she moved us to the Petworth area in Washington, D.C., where it was a little better. But again, how they say you can take the person out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the person. Mm-hmm. I always looked and searched for individuals who was more so like me, who just wanted to have fun, but wanted to be a little extra, wanted to take things a little further. So my crowds was kind of extreme early on in my life. And
what would you mean by extreme?
Okay, coming up in environments where, the rule is to more so sell drugs. The propositions from other individuals is going to be drugs, and even if you got a wicked jump shot, or, you're elite in your own right, living in these type of environments is hard to prevail once your only distraction, or more so your main distraction, is a negative distraction. But it seemed like the right thing to do because everyone else is doing it. That became, my way to make money. I started to sell drugs, also play football as well. And certain things that I was going through within a household kind of made me embrace the streets even harder. When things is not going, the way that you expect, as an adolescent with a diminished culpability, I think I embraced the wrong crowd. Well, actually, I embraced the wrong crowd. I embraced the three-headed monster, which ultimately led me to prison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How was that experience being in prison?
For me, being in prison, it was terrible. But I had to understand the laws of the land. And without the understanding of where you at, you can't survive where you at. And having like an 8th grade education, but my athletic ability, which was more so propelling me through school, with teachers just passing me a lot and not really, evaluating my educational mindset, put me in a position where I felt inferior going in, and I understood that I would have to get an education to, basically maintain, my sanity while, being in prison. So being inside, it put me in a position where I was forced to educate myself because I didn't like the way that I felt. I didn't like the crowds who I was associating with. So they said, if you want to do something different, you have to change the ways and the likes of who you associate with.
Did you see that crowd in prison as well?
Of course, it was the same crowd. See, on the inside, it's uncool to do the cool thing. Going to school is uncool. Going to church is uncool. Excuse me, going to church or religious services is uncool. Individuals just don't do that. Because most individuals serving long prison sentences and they don't believe in tomorrow. That's the average individual. They don't believe in tomorrow because you can tell from the way they act, and you can understand it, you know. You can understand why they think the way they think, why they do the things that they do. Because it's not nothing that's more so motivating them to do anything different. Because the environment is dormant. It's
Yes.
it's
You
basically a
kind of
church.
fall, you're a victim of your environment.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
You're definitely a victim of your environment. And if you want something different for yourself, you have to step outside of the crowd and be your own man. It's going to be some backlash that come with that, but ultimately it pays off. So what I did was, I signed up for GED. They said you don't have to sign up because it's mandatory. So everyone, in the federal bureau of prisons, excuse me, a little net flying around. Everyone in the federal bureau of prisons, that's incarcerated, have to attend GED classes. So early on, when I was going to GED classes, I understood that everybody here do not want to be here, because they tell you, if you don't show, you're going to SMU.
So we
So
all know that the American prison system, though, is very, very harsh, right?
right,
Do you agree with it or not? Or what's your view on that and why?
of course, the American prison system is very, very harsh, for many reasons, but mainly staff don't have the proper training to assist the residents, because you have a lot of individuals on the inside dealing with personal issues like trauma, depression, things of that nature. And then the staff is not more so qualified to assist these individuals. And then at the clip of individuals who suffer from these problems, it's not enough staff to go around to assist people. So that's the biggest issue that I have, and not having the sensitivity training, to deal with individuals from different walks of life, because in the federal bureau of prisons on prison period, there's people from everywhere, and everybody don't understand everybody. So it's kind of like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's what it's like. And you try, well, individuals try the methods that's there to try to better themselves, but it's not compatible. What I mean by compatible, it's like you're in it, to truthfully better yourself and help your mental health, but they just looking at it like a paycheck. It's not anything that they're deeply or emotionally invested into. So this make individuals reluctant to sign up for programming while they're on the inside, because it seems more like a hoax rather than
You don't feel like they actually care.
not at all, not at all, not at all. Because a lot of these prisons is being built in rural areas where
Where
just the
nobody knows what
department.
goes on in those rural areas.
Exactly, exactly. And most of them never interacted with individuals that look like me. Maybe they first time in life that they interacted with a Black man, was once they took the job to be a prison guard. So it's automatically gonna be a defect or a wall up,
Wow.
because a lot of these individuals don't like your kind.
But then when you take it to the extreme and when you sentence someone to life, what does that change about their life and their family's life as well? Because they're also victims of it.
Wow. Sentencing somebody to life, because I was once sentenced to life. Everybody suffers. Everyone suffers, even the system, because the system that they have in play is a bot system, and it's failing both parties. But the more so, answer your question. My mom set my trial every day, and I used to see her lose a pound a day, heavy bags under her eyes. And
Anxiety
how
rushes through.
exactly, 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 and how it plays on them is different from the way that it plays on you, because your mom will think, I failed my child. What could I have done better? And as you get older, you understand they're hurt from their mindset, and it hurts you even more. Being put in environments where the opportunity to succeed is limited. Yes, it's a recreational center, but it's next to a liquor store, or it's next to the corner where they're selling drugs at. So the opportunity to succeed is slim. Even when your family, make the right decisions to try to get you away from there, but it's just hard, and
Just to
nobody
feel that they
wins.
feel they could have done better.
Exactly, exactly. So the family suffer just as well as you suffer.
Yeah.
And that's part of my mission, make sure that, I get the message across effectively and in a righteous fashion.
Wow. You couldn't have said it any better.
Thank you.
But do you think that there is racial motive behind the harsh sentences, the harsh conditions of prison and the justice system?
Of course, it's big time racial motive coupled with the financial gain. They spend $85 billion on corrections yearly. Think about that for a minute, Caleb.
And how many
85.
jobs you can create with that money?
Wow, you said it. You said it. But they have
Imagine
to
you
have,
can fix the projects. You can do so many things with that money.
exactly. You could do a lot of things, and this is part of my advocacy as well. Get them to reallocate those funds to things that's more meaningful. Coupled with the individuals that you have to put in these cells in order for you all to make your money. Since the Reconstruction period, when slavery was abolished in 1865, they had a plan since then, to more so keep us marginalized. And it was us, the Black individuals, who was the fuel for their gas tanks. Now you have the Latinos, and whites are included, and then you have other minority groups. But however, the Black individual is the key fixture in mass incarceration, because without Black people, it wouldn't be mass incarceration. Not at all. So, of course, racial biases play a big role, coupled with the financial gain. I could speak on it for days. There's so many things I could speak about, but I'm just trying to give you the strongest answer that I possibly could for reasoning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they're inmates, they're serving life sentences for drug charges. They probably never even hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel downright despicable about that, because when you have like even with the crack law, they knew that they had something wrong when you had individuals getting caught with 5 grams, or let's just say a gram of crack, but this individual got caught with a kilo, a pound of cocaine. This individual received maybe a year, 5 years max, but this individual received 20 plus years just for 1 gram of crack cocaine. This one, you've seen a disparity on who these laws was more so fixated towards. And a lot of these individuals come up under this period of time when they was giving out hard sentences for drugs. For those individuals who serving long prison sentences for drug charges, it's a truly, it's a disservice, and also it's a bias, because with the opioid spikes and things of that nature, you see a lot of these distributors getting slaps on the wrist when you have individuals who come up during the crack epidemic was receiving de facto life sentences or life sentences during this period of time. It just shows the biasness within the system. And ultimately, we're trying to fix laws now to get those individuals a release date sometime in the near future with the second look. Yeah.
I 100% agree. I couldn't agree anymore. These people they have a major drug problem. It's not
Right.
a criminal issue. This is a health issue. They should be sent into hospitals, rehab, etc. I don't believe that it is a criminal issue at all.
You are 1,000% right.
Absolutely. So do you think it's easy to judge the accused from the outside, but not knowing how that person grew up, what the conditions were that was like for them growing up? Because not everyone grew up the same. So
Exactly.
is it easy to sit back over here and say, this person did this, they should be sentenced to X amount of years. This person did this, they're a terrible person. When you don't know what they went growing up to cause them to do what they did.
Of course, Caleb. Of course. As they say, experience is the best teacher. Without the experience, you sound like literally Charlie Brown teacher. You're not making sense. You're not making sense. Like we're trying to, pass a geriatric bill, for elderly people. And they're saying that, what is an elderly person? Is he 50? Is he 60? But then you'll have individuals, who's on the outside that's 50 years old and say things like, well, I'm 50 years old and I don't feel elderly. I don't act elderly. I still move around in such a fashion. But they haven't compared that to the individual who's on the inside, you feel me, that's dealing with issues beyond just physical. Like the mental aspect of prison deteriorates your brain faster than one would think. You may can keep yourself up on the outside because a lot of the things to basically harm yourself is not accessible to you. And certain individuals grow out of drug habits, violent habits, and things of that nature as they get older. So when you're on the outside looking in, it's easy for you to say something about an entity or individual or a law that you haven't experienced. People base most of their experiences on, what the narrative is or what they heard. Listen to what I said. What the narrative is or what they heard, not what they experienced. Not what they experienced. I think it's a disservice and more so miscarriage of justice to listen to anyone who haven't been directly impacted. Unless 1 + 1 just equals 2. Unless. But yeah, I will have to agree to say that, yes, I do think that individuals with outside opinions create bad laws, and then it perpetuates. And then individuals, man, they link on to it. Okay, let me see the way that XYZ done it. And let me try to model that way. This is how bad laws perpetuate, because it becomes more of a structure rather than, an experience.
Absolutely. When you refuse to help those in need as well, the people who didn't grow up with the big home, the ones who didn't grow up with a happy family, and when the government refuses to bring those up, put a good education in the projects, in the low income areas, but then they want to judge when something bad happens, it really doesn't make any sense. Yes.
Exactly. Think about it like this. On the inside of prison, just like the 1960s, segregation. Literally, like a shower belonged to a race, a chair belonged to a race, a cell belonged to a race, a phone belongs to a race. So once you come in, you see the divide and conquer, and administration don't do anything about that. Like, for me to come in saying that I want to be rehabilitated, I want to become one. How can I become one in a segregated society that has its own rules and bylaws? And then once you get individuals in these environments, you expect for them to be deers around lions, tigers, and bears. They say once in Rome, you do what the Romans do. A lot of individuals act out of circumstance and not out of character. Because if anyone get burnt by fire, they're gonna say, ow, that hurts. That hurts. So it's circumstance that create the individual. Back to what we're more so talking about, experiences. See, me being a prison expert, I can come out and debunk any of their theories because I don't live it. I've been directly impacted. What could you tell me about the inside where I did 21 years? What could you possibly tell me? And I'm unbiased. I got Black friends, I got white friends, I got Spanish friends, I got Indian friends, so on and so forth. You know, because the issue at hand today, it is not, I'll say, a race issue to the point to where as though that individuals don't want to congregate and come together. It's more so issue dealing with the administration for not one individual to congregate and things of that nature, because it will pay more dividends for them if we all sat under the same roof and got along, ate together, played together, just pass pleasantries together as more of a body rather than divided. This is how institutions continue to keep their dominant structure now, because guys come in and more so police themselves. The Black's gonna go over here, the white's gonna go over there, the
And
Mexican's
it's
gonna
all
go.
just complete mess and just chaos and division.
Exactly.
But what is the number one thing that does ache you about the entire prison system?
The number one thing,
something you just can't just fathom to this day.
Wow. To be honest with you, it's more than one, but if I had to narrow it down, I would say the false representatives who are in position to change laws, but do it under the political umbrella to where as though a lot of their heartfelt sentiments is not being acted out because they're trying to appease someone else.
Can you elaborate more on that?
Okay, like let's say for instance, you're dealing with individuals who got trauma issues, like been sexually abused all their life, been beaten all their life, starved most of their life, and just come from backgrounds that's not, pleasurable. But then again, like I spoke of previously, you put individuals around them who don't have the sensitivity training to actually deal with these individuals in such a fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no help. There's no healing inside. And there's not enough programming to allow individuals, to more so have a clean opportunity for rehabilitation. What I mean by clean, because you put a program over here, but it don't really fit me. I might be dealing with other issues, but this program is for, let's say, let's just use depression. Okay, I'm not depressed, but I can go in and hear a lot of things that, can help me out, with the issues that I have, but it's not directly pertaining or entertaining my intellect, because I need something that's more so dealing with trauma or my mom leaving the home when I was 6 years old and she never came back.
Just like you're certified to teach in a school, just like you're certified to be a nurse, there needs to be people who need to be trained and certified to handle these kind of issues as well. Exactly,
Caleb. Exactly. And then my thing is this here. Once you make an investment, you look for a return. I ask politicians, on a weekly basis. You have to make an investment in order to get the return. If there's no hand being extended, what do you expect? What you see is what you get.
And the law is not an investment as well.
Exactly.
People, this is the law. This is the law. Is not an investment.
Exactly.
In order.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But are you positive about the future of the prison system? Do you believe it is going to change in the near future, or is it going to take a long time, or what do you think about it?
I'm highly optimistic that change is on the horizon due to the second look and the type of conversation that we're having, with delegates, all over the United States in regards to second look and how they're taking on the model that we've done here in Washington, D.C., which was the Incarceration Reduction Amendment Act. I'm highly optimistic about it.
That's some light. That's very good to hear.
It is, because what the second look does is it looks into who you were before you committed the offense. What was your mind state? What was your environment? Who did you follow? You know, how were you in school? What was the triggering event in your life? Like it looks into more things rather than saying, well, he committed this offense, lock him up and throw away the key. You know, it gives individuals, I say, a fair and just opportunity, you know, to receive something that they have to participate in as well. You know, they're just not handing, you know, out second looks saying you can go home. It's more like you have to fit a criteria, you know, you have to fit a criteria. But if there's nothing inside these environments for individuals to embrace, what did you expect again? So we're trying to motivate, you know, prison populations all over the world to put things in these places where these individuals can gravitate to better themselves. So once the time second look come about, they will have something to, they will have something to show to the judge. If you come in front of the judge and you don't have anything, you're not going to get anything, you know?
Yeah.
But if you come in front of the judge and the judge see, though, listen, he's in GED classes, he'll receive his GED, he's done multiple programs, he's with, you know, an organization that's helping with criminal justice reform or what have you.
Like that more of just an inmate. They're starting to see them more of a person and what they are doing to get themselves out of this mess.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I'm here now. And that's why I'm here. So I motivate all my people. You know,
do you think changing the education system within the low income areas would help tremendously as well by improving it?
Yes, especially financial literacy. Financial literacy is the biggest educational tool that one can have in this economic environment. But who's the individual who's not getting the education? The individuals that look like you and I. You know, and it's funny you said that, because me and my relative, you know, we have something brewing along the lines of like motivating individuals in just public school system to teach more financial literacy courses. Because when you don't have it, it's kind of like you're behind the 8 ball. You know, there's no structure to your life because you don't understand even how to, you know, more so handle the smallest things like a credit card. You know, you can't, and it spells bad. Education is the biggest thing that one can have, because with the education, you know, you can get control of your life. You know, without it, you know, who has control of your mind? You know, a lot of the things that you haven't been taught, which was proper etiquette, the way to speak in the interview, how to dress during the interview, how to be a teammate inside of a work environment, and most important, having tech skills like
and Microsoft Excel, learn how to operate a smartphone, those kind of basic things. You may think that everyone knows it, but that's far from the truth.
You are 1,000,000% right.
What are y'all doing at the Sentencing Project right now in terms of advocacy and really trying to make a change?
Well, we are making sure that we have the exact numbers, because we are a research and advocacy group, you know, that go out and try to change false narratives. You know, our biggest position in our movement is turning every falsehood into a truth. Therefore, those individuals on the inside that's been receiving bad law for numbers of years can have a fair opportunity for relief. If they come out and say, well, the reason why is a spike in crime because the wave of returning citizens, and we can go and say, no, that's not it. Because the average individual coming home, you know, we can also go on to and say, no, that's not it, because the average individual coming home, they don't recidivate to at least 3 years. That's just what the statistics say. If you're saying it's a recent spike, let's go into another database. So we're going to another database and we're crunch some numbers and get some things correct, and we'll send them that, you know. And then we have our, you know, media groups and things of that nature who we work, you know, closely with, you know, we give them our findings and they perpetuate them for us.
That's, you know, that's really amazing. It's really like awesome to hear that what you guys are doing.
Exactly. Appreciate it. And we're going to continue to do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Warren, for coming out and being able to tell us your story and what you guys
Yes,
are
sir.
really doing on the sentencing project. And is there one thing that you would like the public to really know about what you guys do, or just about what to be aware of the justice system, or what is it?
Yes. I say we're a nonpartisan group. So therefore, come as you are. Come as you are. However, we're not in position to hear every beck and call, but if you come, I say in the fashion of trying to end life imprisonment, voting rights, things along that line, you know, anything that's dealing with our civil liberties, trust and believe that the Sentencing Project have a hand on those topics, because we got different divisions within the project. So for all of you who have, aching issues that's dealing with criminal justice reform, voting rights, and things of that magnitude, know that you have a partner in the fight. To know that you can reach out to someone who can give you a little more guidance and a little bit more direction in your path of trying to recreate or restructure that of what you're doing. That's what I like to tell the public.
That's wonderful. Thank you again for coming out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Okay.